Hello, and thank you for clicking on the video. Welcome to another Off Meta with the Moose match. Today it will be a quick battle between myself and Yondu, a talented newer player, helming up the Ogres. And today I was experimenting with a kind of more diverse Skaven build. We're going to have a couple heroes here. The Master Assassin, who is nice just because you can't see him. He has stock, so the enemy won't be able to target him down, know where he is. The Secret Banner of the Horned Rat is a really nice item, just debuffs leadership in quite a wide area. And then he has a Lord sniping ability, Looming Dread, which lowers melee defense and speed. Going for two casters here, which I think is kind of interesting for Skaven. The Plague Priest here, who has a summoning ability, Vermintide. This brings rats from the depths, from the Under Empire, as it's called in the lore. These guys, these clan rats that it summoned, just kind of get in the way of enemies and tie things up, which is nice. And he has pretty good melee at 50 melee attack, and he is very stinky, I think, is the lore. So he has contaminated when he whacks things, lowering their leadership, which is really nice. We also have the Eshin Sorcerer, also invisible. Has Warp Stars, really nice ability. It does some direct damage with some ninja magic stars that are sent out. And also, Veil of Shadows got a buff in the most recent patch. It got a increased radius. This is a very experimental spell. I'm not sure how I feel about it yet, but I'm going to keep bringing it until I know how I feel about it. A line of Night Runner slings. These guys are just nice, cheap units that chuck pebbles and have okay melee stats. A couple Warp Fire throwers to cook Noblars and lower leadership with their debuffs. And then we have some Rattling Guns, which had their accuracy increased recently. So going to see what I can do with them, see if I can get some work done. For my opponent over here, we have a Slaughtermaster, the Great Maw, with Brain Gobbler. Interesting choice for spells. Probably not what I would go with. Does this do an area of effect when you know just extended duration? Usually you want to take Troll Guts and probably Bull Gorger if you're going Lore of the Great Maw for the Ogres. And then we have a Hunter back here on a Stonehorn. Very cool, giant monster. This thing is pretty terrifying. Can crush through my soft Skaven rat lines. And then we have a couple lead belchers. Lead belchers are a very scary shooting unit. These guys with their giant, they're just carrying around a cannon by hand. That's just the style of the ogres. And the lore for these guys, I think they just are stuffing random objects into those and shooting them out. In practice, it's cannonballs are getting shot out, though. So I'm going to move up and take the middle objective, and objective 3. Looks like I forget to do it, but at some point, going to take that, and that will put the impetus on my opponent. Except for sometimes when you're moving your armies in formation, one unit will be moved outside of the regular area, and it looks like these Rattling Guns were doing that, moving a little too far forward out of position, so they might get wasted by these lead belchers. Let's see, some fire coming in. Yep, some more fire coming in, and that's not a great start for myself, sending one of my carry pieces, 800 gold unit, into the right into the face of these lead belchers. That's okay. We'll see if we can come back from that. Over here, we were able to fend off some of these birds. They are called blood vultures for the ogre kingdoms. But my little mobility scooters, the doom flayers, were able to get over there and run them off. In the middle, my opponent making a push with their Stonehorn, trying to get some terror routes into my lines. Was this a summoned unit? No, this was a just unit of Skaven slaves. These guys are very cheap. The dregs of the Skaven Empire, they're going to be running off. Stonehorn will start taking some fire from the Rattling Guns in the backline, which does have a suppression effect, which is going to slow that down. And poison coming in from somewhere, probably my Master Assassin. Yeah, he has little poison darts that he chucks. They can do decent damage. But this guy is getting slowed. Fear of Arn Rar, a ability from my Eshin Sorcerer. It's a one-time use, lowers the leadership by an insane amount and vigor. So my opponent wisely going to pull back, not wanting to get their Stonehorn routed without any success happening for it. Yeah, you combine Fear of Armrar, the burnt effect from these Warp Fire throwers. You could lower leadership using the Master Assassins, Banner the Horned Rat. Maybe you get a whack from the Plague Priest with Contaminated. I think that's like minus 40 leadership or something. Pretty insane. You could do a lot with that. Here, I've walked my Eshin Sorcerer, who I meant to keep in the back line, into the Pigback Knight, so he's taken a lot of damage, nearly dead. Lead Belchers are just stomping all over these Skaven slaves right now at the moment, doing a lot of damage. But my Warp Lightning Cannon in the back line is doing a lot of work. I got a Warp Quake off on these two Blood Vultures. That is an ability from these Warp Grinders. These guys don't really do any damage in melee, but they have two special abilities. They have Seismic Snare and Warp Quake. One locks the enemy units in place, and the Warp Quake does some nice damage. So going to be waiting for that to come off cooldown so I can use those again. Warp Fire Thrower is getting melded by the Lead Belchers, who are kind of just systematically taking out my key units, but my opponent has left their gun line exposed, and now I'm able to get some Wolf Rats on top of these Lead Belchers, which combined with my Warp Lightning Cannon in the back line is going to start shutting down my opponent's shooting. They're going to need to get something to react to that. Sounds like their response is just going to be sending in flying units to try and dive on top of my guns. Veil of Shadows going here should stagger my opponent's units and keep them from doing too much damage, which it looks like it is doing. You can see they're kind of stuck in place. That's going to allow time for the Doom players to get there and run over that unit. Might not have needed to. They were pretty beat up. Probably could have used that Veil of Shadows somewhere else, but what can you do? Holding my units in the back line right now, just trying to keep this cannon shooting. It's really doing good work for me. Wolf Rats are getting onto the next Lead Belcher. They're close to routing, but they're getting some nice damage in the meantime. Stonehorn is just chilling here. Hasn't made a move aggressively yet. That little Plague Priest in the middle is doing nice work. Summons the unit Clan Rats into the Lead Belcher, shutting them down for the moment, which is really nice. But the Ogre, Tyrant, and the Stonehorn have seen this Plague Priest and did not like what he was doing, getting some really nice damage in there. And the Ogres are pressing further into the back line, which is not good for me. Blood Vultures and Ogre Bulls fighting Rat Ogres here. This Eshin Sorcerer taking some damage on himself. Backline is still shooting and still safe, but so are my opponent's Lead Belchers, which are doing really nice damage. Plague Priest pulling back there. And the value is pretty even right now, which is not great for me. Ogres can get healing through their army abilities. It's things that just kind of build up over, the time of the game. And so and with my shooting style, I would love to be further ahead in damage value because the big boy is coming. The Stonehorn is coming for my guns, and I don't have much to deal with this at the moment. Let's get a cinematic of this giant charge. Oh, crushes the gun in half. I feel like that's some type of Jurassic Park moment. But I do summon out the Naked Mole Rat, the Brood Horror here, who will, with his poison and nice melee, will do pretty good work. That Hunter's starting to get very beat up. If I can... And my Warp Fire Throwers are doing some cooking. My front line is gone, so this is all you see here is what you have. I did pull back my hero, but I summon out a unit of Rattling Guns and line them up on the Stonehorn. A lot of damage coming in pretty quick with the Brood Horror. Might be able to finish off that Stonehorn, taking a lot of damage. We'll see if he goes down. My Master Assassin coming in as well. The Stonehorn does go down. Big boy defeated, but there's a lot of Ogres. The Ogre Tyrant, they want revenge for the death of their of their friend here on the giant beast, but we'll see if they can get it. Master Assassin, Brood Horror are holding the line. Summon going to be really clutch here, going to hold up a lot of units as they try to dive in further. A lot of ogres in the background coming in. I am triple capped at the moment. You can see my opponent's points are nearing 1,000 while I'm not gaining any. Even if I do win this fight, it's going to be very difficult to make any progress because I might just lose on points even if I'm gaining back ground. The ogres are on the retreat, which is wise. You don't want to go too deep into your opponent's deployment zone. That's where they summon units out of, because they can summon out counters to whatever you're bringing, while your deployment zone is, you can see it back in the distance there, is further away. My opponent has summoned in, looks like Mornfang Cavalry over on the high ground, was able to fend off some wolf rats that I brought in. But in the center, the terror of the Brood Horror, the Naked Mole Rat, is pushing my opponent back. Rattling guns are suppressing units and doing really good damage. That buffed accuracy this patch for Rattling guns has been quite noticeable, I've thought, in recent games. Master Assassin, the little rat who makes all the rules, is cutting down some ogres, and the tide is really turning right now. Dismember going on a random unit clan rats. I think that is a summon, so you don't want to be popping that on units that are going to disappear. Summons do disappear on their own naturally. Mornfang Cav, get on top of the Doom Flayers. Nice pick there. That's going to shut them down. Diving in some Blood Vultures. I like that move. Just buying time, slowing me down, because my opponent knows they are really ahead on objectives. That's all they need to do is win on objectives. Blood Vultures diving on the Rattling Guns. I don't want that. Going to try to clean that up here with the Warp Fire Throwers, who will be able to do some nice damage. Shooting into the Lead Belchers with the Warp Lightning Kid, and the Lead Belchers are teeing off right now on my pack of rats and going to do a lot of damage as they dump fire. Oh yeah, you can see that those cannonballs coming in really bunched up here, really needed to spread out, but didn't notice I was taking that fire. Mornfang Cav, the Weeping Blade, another handy feature of the Master Assassin. Going to lower the armor of these big guys by 50% in combat, which is really nice. They're actually going to get terror routed by the giant naked mole rat and are going to be pulling back. So that will get me objective 3 back on the board. My opponent's already up to 1,200, which is not a good sign for me. I was able to fend off those Blood Vultures and get my shooting back online. Warp Fire Throwers doing fantastic work into the Pigback Riders here. The Warp Fire Throwers, that's really what they're made for. Oh, having a little stuttering there, but we're back. That's really what they're made for, is taking out these light infantry units. They do fantastic work into them. Now, all hands are on deck. I do catch the enemy lord here using the ability, the Looming Dread from the Master Assassin. Naked Mole Rat and him are really teeing off on this guy, doing great work. My opponent sends in their Rallying Mornfang Cav. Cool anime moves going off from the Master Assassin there. Naked Mole Rat taking some time to clean his face. But these guys are going to get fended off pretty easily, especially with the leadership ability from the Plague Priest, doing nice work into them. And I should be able to do some damage into the Slaughtermaster. In the middle, guns are slowly clearing off the ogres. Time is really of the essence now. So I am just chucking units at the objective. I just need to get them on over here. Wolf Rats do go into Pigback Riders, who are an anti-large unit. They get a little bonus for bigger units. And Wolf Rats are a small entity, so that's a good trade for me. Over on the far ground, I am chasing off the Slaughtermaster, but I really need to focus on getting these objectives rather than their lord. Right now, I'm just running past the Lead Belchers to get onto the objective. I should send some units into them, which looks like I am going to do. But capture weight doesn't matter if it's a shooting unit who doesn't want to be in melee. I need everyone sitting on an objective right now. Wolf Rats coming over here to objective 1. I was able to rout off those Pickback Riders with the Wolf Rats, so might be able to get a triple cap, but time is definitely running out. I've captured objective 2, which is going to slow things down, which is very nice. The Sky Strider's coming out, a very scary unit. These guys might be able to just defeat my whole army if they can avoid the guns. And I am going to get objective 1. I get 3 units. That's a lot of capture weight on there, which is going to be able to secure that up for me. So I do have a triple cap with just 52 seconds left by the time I got there. But to do that, I threw a lot of units on the objective, a lot of units that don't want to be there. These rattling guns, they have really low melee defense, so they do not want to be in melee. And they are going to get smacked by all these units. And the Sky Striders are running over little rats in the center. Blood Vultures coming in, going to dunk on these Night Runner slings, which are pulling back. So Objective 2 is in a lot of danger right now. Summon coming in clutch again from the Plague Priest. That's going to tie up a lot of units and do some nice work. I don't want to dive in my Wolf Rats yet. I know they'll just bounce off these Sky Striders and die, so I'm trying to find some picks in the back line. We get some Ogre Bulls off. It's really just about capture weight at this point. I don't need to win this fight. I just need my opponent to not capture the objective. And different units have different levels of capture weight. Kind of goes infantry have the most capture weight, and then cavalry, wolf rats monstrous infantry, which is like these ogre units. So there's not one in front of us right now, but they have the next level. Excuse me. Of capture weight. Warp Grinder does do something over here. Warp Quake routes off these lead belchers and takes them out, which is kind of cool. Naked Mole Rat went off into the corner and took out the enemy Lord. So he's coming back to the fight now and is going to get on top of these lead belchers, which is really nice to shut these guys down. My opponent did bring out another unit, or it might be original unit. They have a pretty low ammunition, so they might have been here shooting throughout the whole game. My opponent going to try and take Objective 1 with the Sky Striders. My opponent just needs to capture an objective for a little while, so not too long. I do try to deny their charge just by chucking in these wolf rats onto the Sky Striders, which does tie them up. So the rat ogres, who have a massive charge bonus, will avoid the charge bonus of the Sky Striders. You really want to get a charge order off when you're in these situations with the Sky Striders. That charge bonus is really important, so making sure you attack something like the rat ogres coming into you is really important. Rat ogres doing their boxing against the giant Shreks on top of Yeti monsters, and doing pretty well. They will lose, but they get some nice damage in. Eshin Triads are going to be huge here, lowering the armor and doing nice anti-large attacks. Leadership debuffing from the Warp Fire Throwers and with the lowered armor is going to do really nicely. Nice job by my opponent here, putting Blood Vultures onto the shooting. I'm going to take them out of this fight, but I do have decent capture weight with the Eshin Triads. Ogre Bulls coming in, they will do nicely into the Eshin Triads. I'm calling in whatever I can now. It's all hands on deck. I just need units to sit on Objective 1 and make sure I hold it until the points will be further in my favor. I'm holding some units onto these other objectives just to try and make ogres have really fast capture weight that they could send to any of these objectives, so I need to hold on to them. I need to have something ready for when my opponent shows up. I am losing Objective 1 Blood Vultures coming in to rout these Night Runner Slingers, but they're getting some nice pebbles into the lowered armor of the Sky Striders. We have Noblar Trappers and the ROR Noblar Trappers showing up. But I am getting a lot of capture weight on here. Rat Ogres and Wolf Rats rallying to take out the Blood Vultures. We have Clan Rat Spears who have a lot of capture weight coming in to get on the objective. And we are routing the Ogre Bulls. Looks like the Naked Wolf Rat is back. That's going to rout the Sky Striders. That's going to get a lot of capture weight off the objective, and I think that might be good game right there. I think that was my opponent's last real chance to try and take the objective. These units are going to get routed off pretty quick now. I think we can do some fast forwarding at this point. Yep, units just getting cleaned up on the objective there. Looks like my opponent is making a play on the far objective. Some Ogre Bulls and Pigback Riders. But at this point, my points are going to shoot up really fast. I don't think my opponent would have time to take this objective. Regardless, I get some units in position to counter. My Eshin Sorcerer, I kind of blundered earlier and threw. You want to keep him in the back line. I kind of walked him into the front. Is back, so he's going to get some magic off and just have himself a good time before the game is over. Ninja Star's going in, doing nice damage. It's a really solid ability into Monstrous Infantry. And Veil of Shadow is going to go down, because why not? Staggering these units, lowering leadership. They're going to get cut down by the Rattling Gun shooting. Objective 1 still very solidly in control, and that will be game. Thank you for watching that one. It was kind of a fun experiment to try the two sorcerers. The summons really came up big, especially with the leadership debuffing of the Plague Priest. I was a little rusty, so the Eshin Sorcerer I did not use effectively, just kind of walked him off into his doom like I did one of the Rattling Gun units. Rattling Guns did pretty well. The Doom Flare cleaned up a lot of stuff. Warpfire Throws did pretty nice as well. Master Assassin did okay. And the Brood Horror, 2,600 gold value, getting over double his value back. These guys are fantastic. Speed, regeneration, good damage. What's not to love? And then the Warp Lightning Cannon did some pretty serious work. Ooh, Wish and Triads did nice too. For my opponent, I think some more efficient magic would definitely have helped a lot. Healing would have been really big on, say, this Hunter. Lead Belcher play was really fantastic for my opponent as well. Pigback Riders I'm not so sure about in this one. The anti-large damage isn't super useful. There's not a ton of large units for the Ogres, but I like the build. The Blood Vulture swarming was very difficult to deal with, so I really like that. Thank you for watching this one. It was a fun one to play, fun one to cast, and I'll catch you guys next time.